Just whining about everything.
Yeah, man. The mosquitoes here. We almost not coming back next week.
Hey, yo.
What's happening?
Welcome back to the Who Effing Knows podcast, episode 46. Do you have a person for 46?
I don't. You got a random Saints player or Pels player with number 46?
46.
None come to mind.
I got
Probably a
nothing.
fullback,
Adam
probably.
Prentice is the only one I can
Adam
think of.
Prentice, that's
Shout out Adam Prentice,
That's
I guess.
The fullback. We got Logan here with us today, Logan Graffia. Logan, introduce yourself, man. Tell us about what you do. I know you got some cool podcast stuff coming out. Let's run through that in the beginning here.
Well, I mean, I'm Logan Graffia. I'm a sports reporter. I'm also a production assistant at WLAE in New Orleans, right off of Howard, right down the street from Xavier University.
Hell yeah.
A lot of interesting things go on there. I love everybody at the station. And I have a new show coming. I used to have a show called The Hit with my good friend Calvin. Yes, and we're still friends. People ask me about that. We talk every single day. We just talked to him on my way here. But I decided, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just do a show on my own. I want him to focus on football. I even told him, hey, focus on football. Then after that, maybe we could do something together.
Come back to me.
So I started thinking, like, man, I need a show name. And I started asking, like, the little chat bot on Snapchat. Because I'm like, I don't use this. Then let me ask. I was like, give me a podcast name with a Louisiana name. It kept coming up, Bayou this, Swamp that. I'm like, man, that's all stupid. So I'm sitting in my chair, I'm walking to my room to go get something, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh, I'm going to call it Sports Etouffee. I'm always hearing people say comedy gumbo this, sports gumbo that. So I'm like, you know what? I don't think anyone has anything called Sports Etouffee, because that's one of a kind. That's only Southern Louisiana stuff right there. So
Hell yeah.
Sports Etouffee came to mind. I'm like, okay, that's the name of it. And the font, it took me forever to make that. I had the font on the title page is modeled after the little tile.
Yeah, New Orleans.
From the New Orleans street tile from the quarter. I'm like, I wanted to look like it's meant for New Orleans sports. So I did that. And then I came up, I'm like, you know what? I want to do maybe a music show because I love music. I always have. I've played instruments my whole life. And I'm like, you know what? I have a bunch of vinyls. Maybe I could just do that and just do like 5 episodes. And if it gets going, people like it, maybe I could do more. I mean, I got that in the vault. It's going to happen soon.
I want to know more about that. So a lot of people that watch us know we have topics normally when we come in, but it's all over the place. That struck a chord. We're going to dive into this now. Tell me more about the music. You said you're doing episodes on that, or like what music? Let's get into it. Yeah,
because you've already put out a few 2 or 3 of
Sports Etouffee. I've only done 2.
Uh-huh.
I shoot that every Monday.
Yeah.
And I was gonna do the vinyl collection miniseries every Friday. I haven't done it yet because of course work comes first, and all my time has to be in my work.
I feel that.
But the idea was, I'm like, okay, I have this big milk crate full of vinyls that my uncle and my dad gave me from. It's all their vinyls from like the 70s and 80s and even 90s when they was around back then. Like, you know what? I'm going to do a show. Maybe like I'll highlight an album and talk about that, like the history and like how this album came to be, how this song got wrote, why did they write it that way, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, you know, I feel like maybe 5 episodes, I could do that. If they want more, maybe I could do more.
You got a question?
No, I love that. I mean, obviously we love the sports talk and everything, but you know us, you see the clips of us, we like to talk about nonsense and music, and
especially music. That's what struck a chord. I was like, music.
We've done music top 5s a lot, so that I'm interested in for sure, because I mean, especially I got a small vinyl collection, but it's not like old vinyls. It's more like albums I loved growing up. So, you know, there's some Lil Wayne albums, a big Mac Miller fan, so a bunch of Mac Miller albums. So, but I like the idea of deep diving into each one. It's a unique idea. They don't have a lot of shows like that.
They really don't. And the idea actually came. I was at my folks' house watching something called Access TV, and they had this show called Vinyl Obsession. Lizzie Hale, and I want to say
Lizzie Hale. Shout out Hailstorm.
I can't remember the bassist from Mr. Big, Billy Sheehan. And they was in like this record store in Tennessee, and they had to pick their 5 favorite albums of all time, and it was all vinyls, of course. And I'm like, okay, I want to do a show like that, but I mean, with my own vinyl. And I mean, I remember when I got my record player, my parents bought me a record player for Christmas, like a few years ago. And the first vinyl I bought was What's Going On by Marvin Gaye from Walmart. And the first time I brought it home, my dad was like, damn, vinyl costs $30 these days? Back in my day, it was only like $3.
They expensive. But
Let's
that
go.
is the only reason I do not have more.
That's why I go to Second and Charles.
Yeah,
I've been there once.
I figured that was why, was for the vinyls, but now I see why you love it so much.
Well, my first thought when we were talking about cheap stuff is I just went straight to dirt cheap. I don't know if you saw, we were in Slidell. You're in neck of the woods last Monday. We filmed a couple little things, little segments with like coffee and stuff like that, and we popped into Dirt Cheap. Do they have vinyls in Dirt Cheap? Do you know?
I didn't see
I've
any.
been in Dirt Cheap before in Slidell, and to my knowledge, they don't. Last time I went in there, I was looking for a blazer, and of course, they did not have it. They had nothing.
The only place around here that I know, besides Best Buy, Walmart, the only ones I know that have them relatively cheap as far as vinyl prices go is Second and Charles
or eBay if you get lucky, if you want to buy one literally from 1980, 70, whatever.
Yep.
So you thinking it sounds like just from the vibe I get from you, from you said Marvin Gaye. I see the Sports Etouffee logo. I've seen what is it, the name of it? LGTV. It all looks very classic. Are all the vinyls like throwbacks, like 70s, 60s, like what?
Yeah, I don't really have any modern vinyls. I mean, now the Marvin Gaye is, of course, new vinyl. It ain't like vintage from 1970, unfortunately. But all the vinyls I have, I mean, the oldest vinyl I think I have, one of my friends, my best friend's cousin, who is one of my best friends, one day said, hey, I got a vinyl that you might like that it's just laying around. I'm sure it'll get more love with you than me. And it was Frank Sinatra, so I took it.
Hell yeah.
And then, I mean, before I got that, the oldest vinyl I had, I think, was Abbey Road, a vintage Abbey Road. It's worn out, but that and the Doors. I mean, my dad and my uncle's collection that they gave me combined, I have a pretty damn good collection.
Are you listening to these all the time? Like, are you only listening to vinyls, or you?
When I have time, I listen. Like, I'll sit in my room. It's like a little suitcase out record player that they sell. When I'm just at my house, I have nothing to do, and if I'm off of work and I have zero to do, I'll just sit in my room, play that. Maybe I'll read my Jerry Seinfeld comedy book because I like to laugh. I love comedy, so I'll put something on if I'm in the mood. So yeah,
I'm surprised you don't own a record player.
Why? Because I'm old?
No, because of how much you love music.
I do love music.
It surprises me that you don't. That was one of the first things I bought for my house. And I'll be honest, some albums I can't tell the difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, some of it's like newer hip hop, which you don't get.
Right.
Like a Mac Miller album, you kind of do, because some of the newer stuff,
especially not his newest.
Yeah. But I got everything hooked up to my Apple TV. I could very easily just get on Apple Music, listen to anything I want on the surround sound. But sometimes I'll just be like, you know what? I just want to throw a record on today, and I'll just throw it on the surround sound, and the feel of it just playing. It doesn't even have to sound different. Just the feel of it playing is different.
It's unique.
I get it. I think for me, so like, I'm super vibey. I mean, we talk about this all the time. On the website, it literally says director of vibes, and that started as a joke. And I'm just like, yeah, let's roll it. Let's leave it. I love the vibe. Like, I love the thought of it. But I'm going to be honest, like, just the ease of being like, hey, Alexa, play blah, blah, blah. I can play anything I want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to get up and switch records or any of that. Like,
how far off are we from you being able to just be like, hey, Alexa, play blah, 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 to sound like a vinyl? Like, it's got to be coming, right?
You're probably pretty
close. And it probably will sound more like a vinyl than a record player.
Technology is getting crazy. It's getting like almost getting like iRobot every day.
Yeah, like you can apply a filter to your music, right?
Yeah.
With the vinyl filter. Play Frank Sinatra with the vinyl filter.
You could get on GarageBand and put a filter on there and say that you're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's been like that for years, though.
When anybody would want that, I have no idea.
I don't know. Sometimes the bathroom gives good acoustics.
Yeah, I guess
so.
Listen, I sing in the shower all the time, okay? I sound amazing when I'm in the bathroom. I don't know about you guys.
It's probably where you sound the best, right?
It's definitely where I sound the best.
Where nobody can hear you?
Yeah. That's it. All right. I thought it was a fun topic. I love music. I'll always dive into music. There's a lot going on, though. We could switch subject a little bit here. Y'all want to talk Pels? Pels just made a draft pick.
Let's
Shit,
knock that.
an
Let's
hour
knock
ago.
it out. Yeah.
Let's knock it out. How do we feel? Jonathan Hawkins? Jordan Hawkins? Jordan Hawkins. I was like, I butchered his name as soon as I said it. Jordan Hawkins, lights out shooter. Let's get your thoughts. I'll start with Logan. Logan's the guest of honor.
Well, I mean, I know Dave has seen my multiple tweets in the last week and a half, me switching from Chris Murray to Jordan Hawkins. So before the show, I was telling him, I don't watch a ton of college basketball unless it's like LSU or even Southeastern because, I mean, they don't come on TV that often. But after the season, I'll put my scouting cap on, my Adam Schefter hat or Ian Rappaport hat on, to get my scout on, and I'll just go down a list. I'll make a big board. I've made it for the NFL draft for a long time now. And for the longest, I had Chris Murray because I'm like, man, Keegan Murray is still making threes on the Pels from that game when we played against the Kings. So I'm like, man, he could do everything his brother can. Now, I went back a week and a half ago, and I'm like, man, let me just go back and watch film of all the guys on my board. And then Jordan Hawkins just made me open up my eyes wide. I'm like, man, I must have missed that when I first watched him the first 2 times I watched him because I do it like 3 times. And I'm like, man, he could shoot the lights out. And, I mean, it also helps when Angel Reese is your cousin. She could welcome you to Louisiana a lot easier. Smooth transition. So it's close to a 40% three-point shooter. I mean, him and Trey off the bench, I would love to see it. A lot of people want Trey to start. Don't blame him for that. But, I mean, I think Herb's still going to start. I mean, Jordan Hawkins, he gives you everything that you need. And can I just say, I'm very relieved that we didn't draft Grady Dick because I know everybody was wanting us to get him just for meme purposes. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but I couldn't just deal with hearing Joel Myers saying, Dick from 3, Dick from long.
Listen, you know damn well Joel Myers and AD would have had a field day, making jokes, cracking jokes the whole time.
The first time I would have heard Antonio Daniels say, first off, Joel, pause, but yes, Dick is a great three-point shooter. That was a great shot from Dick. I mean, I would have lost it. Like, I would have died laughing the whole time.
Yeah, I can hear it in my head. It's hilarious. What you think? You got anything to follow up on that?
I mean, you know I don't really care about basketball that much to know anybody. But I just told you, I did a little quick deep dive into it. And my first reaction, like, you see this 3-point percentage, everybody's saying he's a shooter. But when you, like, the first highlight tape, or if you don't know anything about this dude, just watch the first highlight tape on YouTube. This dude can shoot. Like, bigs are in his face. He's got this nasty step back. And, like, he don't care. Like, he was pulling with anybody in his face. I'm not the player to me. I didn't really have much of an opinion on because I don't know much about him. I was more so interested in the position. Now, to me, a big was the most important thing. But to be fair, I don't know what if taking a big at that point was going to be a reach. I don't know who was available because I don't know the prospects like that. But I thought we needed more of a point guard than a 2 guard, which, I mean, he's probably, 20
He's
years
very
old or
young.
so?
He's like 19, 20 years. Well,
Yeah.
actually, I think he might be one of the older prospects in the draft. He might be 22, 23, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I prefer that because, I mean, when Herb was coming out, I'm not sure. I don't think we was following each other yet on Twitter. We might have been. I mean, Herb was the number 1 player on my personal draft board, and a lot of people till this day will say, I will remind people saying, hey, remember when I was right about Herb Jones? Because we drafted him in the second round, but I thought he should have been a first-round pick. I mean, he was number 1 on my board because after the LSU-Alabama game, I said, man, Herb Jones, he reminds me of kind of like Draymond and Stacey Augmon. And, I mean, he was a senior coming out, 23, 24 years old. I mean, he didn't really need too much to develop. I mean, he was already almost kind of like developed. I mean, he played under Avery Johnson and I think 1 year under Nate Oates, 2 great coaches. So, being an older player, if I'm correct on Jordan Hawkins' age, I mean,
look it up right now.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't have any problem with taking him. As soon as I watched him, I was like, all right, you can see. And if there's one thing that can translate from college to pros easily, it's shooting.
In most cases.
But, like, it might take some time to adjust a little bit, but if you can shoot, you can shoot.
And this team needed 2 things. One, I know people wanted a big man, and, I mean, I did too, but, I mean, you can get that in free agency. I mean,
and that's what I was going to say next is people are going to throw a fit, right, that they drafted a shooting guard when you probably don't need a shooting guard. Like, you could use one, but it's not the top need on the team. I think everybody shooting is a high need.
Yes, that
A
was my
shooting
number one
guard,
need.
maybe not. So people are gonna throw a fit because they didn't get who they want.
Right.
But
Exactly.
you'll probably agree with this. I'm gonna wait until the offseason plays out to fully judge
Always.
the pick, right? Because
Always.
they have a plan. They don't just make this pick and not have another plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you got. I've been joking on Twitter. They got more guards than Shawshank right now, right?
That's a good one. That's a
So
good one.
something's got to happen.
Yeah. No, that was gonna be my question as we were talking through here. Just one thought to wrap up. I guess Hawkins as a prospect. We talk about his shooting a lot. A couple things I've seen though that really leap out to me is I feel like he's got potential to be more than just a shooter. Like he's tough. He's skinny. He's a little frail right now. He needs to put on some weight, but he doesn't back down, dude. Like
Yeah.
I feel like there's some room there to be more than just a shooter. I mean, we'll see what happens. But you're right. We got a lot of guards. That was my first thought. I was like, okay, what now? Like who's gone?
I mean, my thing last year, I didn't want Dyson. I mean, I've always kind of made that known. I wasn't a fan of Dyson. I mean, I'm like, if Trajan wants him, okay, sure. That wasn't my pick. I mean, I wanted us to get Jaden Ivey. That wasn't happening because he got picked, like, I think, 3rd, and we picked 8th. But I preferred him. I prefer Dyson over Shaden Sharp, and I think I'm kind of wrong on that as it stands now. Dyson has room to improve, but I think we mainly drafted him because I think the team said, man, we miss Lonzo, and I think Dyson could be another Lonzo. So far, he's not Lonzo, but there's room for improvement. I believe that he has room to improve, but if he doesn't, then there's always the trading block.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of guards, but the good thing is they're all young and still have value.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you definitely can move them. If I had to, Kyra seems like the one.
That's
that
sad, too.
is that's the thing. I love all the ones we got.
Yeah.
Here's how I look at it. I mean, I think you're right. I think Kyra might be the odd man out just from my perspective. And I'm by no means, an NBA scout or like I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. I think I know what I'm looking at just because I understand basketball, but who knows? I kind of disagree about Dyson. Like I know he had a tough end of the year, but at the beginning of the year, man, it looked like that was a home run. And it's like, okay,
I
like
can agree.
he was a rookie. It's tough. He gets an up and down year. I'm very intrigued because of the potential there. Can he shoot? Not really.
Not yet. He still got Fred Vinson to help him now.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, his defensive ability leaps off the page. I mean, it's amazing how great he is on defensive ends, just straight out the box. And his IQ, that's what I love. That's the thing that I always look at for basketball players. Like, if you can come in at 19 years old and it just seems like you know where to be and what play to make, I love it. I love it.
I mean, I think Dyson, like I said, Dyson has room to improve. I just think his confidence after that Lakers game just took a plummet off a cliff. It just seemed like after that game, he was like, he kind of checked out mentally. It was like, man, I really just lost my team again by missing 2 free throws. All he had to do was make 2 free throws, and we win. We don't have to worry about Matt Ryan like falling into the crowd 3 and beating. I'm like,
Never heard from again. Never saw that dude again.
I think he got
Never.
cut like a few games later. he was back in the G League, and I'm just like, so Matt Ryan finally beats a New Orleans team.
Matt Ryan was finally clutch against the New Orleans team.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan
It's
was finally
amazing.
clutch against New Orleans.
Where's
and it was in
Cam Jordan when
basketball.
you need him?
Yeah, yeah. I'm with you on Dyson. We both were big. You were as soon as we drafted him last year. You were
I
saying
loved
it's
him.
going to be hard to keep him off the court, and then once he started playing, and people keep pushing. People act on Twitter like he didn't have this great first beginning of the year. Obviously started off slow, but once they put him on the court, everybody was
Yeah.
on Twitter clamoring like, all right, this dude needs minutes.
Yeah.
But then, like you're saying, he had the rough Lakers minute game. Then he got the injury and he just wasn't
It
the
just
same
seemed like he
after
checked
that.
out. Yeah.
That's the beauty of 2 things. That's the beauty of basketball, right? Is you can start hot, and it's also the beauty of, or you can be up and down, and it's also the beauty of social media and the beauty of like just fans in general. Like you remember how good a person finished. You don't really remember the whole work of art. It's kind of like, what have you done for me lately? We always say
Right.
that. Like, I don't know. I'm trying. I understand the what's the word? The trepidation. Let's use that word, quote a word, when it comes to a guy like Dyson. But I don't know. I'm gonna stay positive for now. But I do understand somebody's got to go, and he's got potential in a trade.
Right,
So,
I love him. I think he does have potential. Like, if his ceiling is Lonzo. Like, that's a perfect
I'm
fit
fine
for
with
this
that.
team, right?
I loved Lonzo when he was here. I'm just very sad that
only-
he's probably never going to play again.
The only reason people didn't like Lonzo was because of the Lonzo stands. We talked about it before. But
Don't get me started on stands.
Right.
I am so ready. Let's have that conversation.
Right. But no, just so to wrap it up, we can dive into that if you want. No, I love Dyson. I do think he's got potential. But at the same time, if there's somebody out there that would really fill that big role, and Dyson's the guy that's got to go.
If Indiana calls and says, hey, we want Dyson and we'll give you Miles Turner, I'm hitting the send button right away. I mean, I know a lot of people are on the fence about Miles Turner, but I think the fit, because, I mean, you think about it, he kind of would fit that DeAndre Ayton-style center that Willie Green probably wants that. I mean, Jonas Valanciunas can actually shoot the 3-ball. I mean, I absolutely love Valanciunas.
I love Jonas, man. I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. I love Jonas. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best top 5 centers in the league when he gets the ball.
I think the thing with the people, logical people that want to trade Jonas, the thing is if Willie's not going to use him because he just kind of doesn't play him at points, right?
In the games.
Right.
We need
so
him.
it's like if he's not going to be somebody you're going to use, then you might as well trade him and get somebody you want. And I understand that logic, but we've had this conversation before. To me, at what point is it like, well, your coach needs to know how to use somebody that good?
I wonder. I've been thinking this a lot lately. I know I've talked about him. I feel like he was hurt a lot down the stretch, and he was playing with a lot of injuries, and that was part of it. But I also kind of wonder if and I hate blaming players. Is it on the players? Like, in every interview, you hear Willie, especially down the stretch, talking about we got to get the ball to Jonas early, we got to get the ball to Jonas often. And when they did, it worked. But then they just stopped doing it. And it's like, is it the players just not wanting to play that style? Are they like, hey, I don't want to slow it down?
I mean, I think it's 50% coach and 50% on the players because it's like when you are like someone like CJ or whoever's handling the ball, you can find Jonas easily. I mean, he's one of the strongest centers in the league. Yep. I put him up there with Steven Adams, who, I mean, I thought he did good here when we had him.
Yeah.
I mean,
All
Valanciunas is freaking awesome. I mean, when Zion and B.I. weren't playing, I mean, I would have loved to have seen CJ and Jonas just go to work. It just did not work. But, I mean, I still love Jonas.
We talk about it. We get into that. They get into that mode, CJ and MBI, where it's terrorist basketball.
Terrorist.
They just dribble around.
The
ball doesn't move. It sticks. It's the most frustrating thing on earth. Every time that name gets mentioned, I get so frustrated by CJ sometimes. Yeah. Like I love CJ for what he did and what he brings to the team as a leader, as a player. He's a good player. Like, by no means do I think he's a bad player. I just think CJ. At times, and when it was just him, I guess I get it.
Yeah, he was Robin without Batman. It was because I mean sometimes or Robin without the Teen Titans. I mean,
it gets to that point at every time at the end of the game when it's a close game. I'm like, here comes CJ. I know what's about to happen. He's about to dribble into this bad shot. The decision making gets me, and then if he gets fouled, God help us. Because the dude can't shoot free throws, and that baffles me.
I honestly think, before he had all those injuries, I mean, he had a torn labrum on his right shoulder, which is his shooting side. Then he had the Drew Brees thumb injury on the shooting hand. So I'm like, I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt because he's been in this league for a long time and averaged over 20 points per game every year he's been in the league. So I'm like, you know what? Everyone wants to give up on it. I'm telling people, I'm like, look. That would be like, Joe Burrow going out there with a broken leg and trying to play, or Joe Burrow going out there with a broken leg and even a broken hand and trying to play quarterback. It's hard to do. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't recommend Joe doing that, but I don't think it's a good idea to give up on him right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the major problem with the team as a whole, though, right? Like, you can make excuses about everything. And if you keep making excuses and the stuff keeps happening, then it's like, okay, like we're in the same spot next year. So are you irrational to want to make a change? It's tough. Like, I'm starting to see both sides, right? Like, in my head, I'm like, there's no way you get rid of, like, we talk about getting rid of Zion and B.I., and I'm like, absolutely not.
I always thought that was stupid.
Never. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, well, you go down the bench. It's like, well, all these guys are good players. Like, who do you get rid of? What do you do? And it's like, well, in my head, I'm like, if you have everybody healthy, this should work. But will they stay healthy? Will it actually work? We haven't seen it. So there's all these questions. I don't know. I have no answers anymore.
Well, everybody wants to trade so and so for like they want to trade. I didn't understand trading Bi or Zion for Scoot
nothing.
or Brandon, any of those, because
I wanted Scoot.
right, but you want to trade. You didn't want to
I
trade
didn't want
Bi.
to trade them. No.
No.
You don't.
didn't.
To me, you don't trade two established superstars
No.
or part-time superstars. You like to say about Bi.
That's Schmidt's words, not mine.
But also, like,
Shame it,
you
love
got,
that guy.
you got all these young players that you can cash in on and get one guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
How often does that work? Honestly, how often it didn't work for the Suns?
Work for the Lakers.
They didn't go get one guy. They went get a bunch of. The Lakers rebuilt their roster.
I'm talking about prior when they traded everybody for Anthony Davis.
Yeah, they traded us a bunch of stuff for AD, but I mean, hey, he still got that Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah,
I mean, and the crazy thing is, I actually rooted for them in the bubble. I'm not lying to you. I mean, I was like, you know what, let them do it for Kobe, but then after that, I'm gonna go back to hating them.
I rooted for the Heat in the bubble.
I rooted for the Lakers. I'm like, you know what, let them do this for Kobe, and I'm like, after that, I'm gonna go back to hating him. I love LeBron to death. I've been loving him since 2003. It's just I can't stand the Lakers or their fans.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, it just like I don't. You can't even say it worked for the Warriors because they didn't give up really anything to go get Kevin Durant, right? So I feel like the way to win is you build a team like we have.
Yeah.
Now, granted, the guys got to stay healthy.
Yes,
but I don't know, man. I'm just it's gonna take a lot for me to be talked into wanting to trade. Like if somebody comes available and they're like, yeah, we want Trey.
Yeah.
Like if a superstar comes available, it's tough, man.
it is. I mean, a lot of successful teams. Jesus, I don't know why I can't say that word. Have built through the draft.
Success.
One of them being the Warriors, and then prior to that, I mean, even OKC made it and lost to the Heat, of course.
Shit, look at the Heat.
The Spurs, yeah, the Spurs dynasty. They built on the draft. I mean, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I mean
the Admiral. I mean,
the Nuggets right now.
The Nuggets, they built through the draft. Jamal Murray, Jokic. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. for one.
Yeah.
People wanted to give up.
20 minutes later. I can't even say that right. We back. We had some technical difficulties. It's all good. We're going to wrap up that conversation anyway. We exhausted the Pelicans talk. Y'all know how we feel. If you don't, follow us on Twitter. You'll see how we feel. Yeah. There's a lot more to talk about. I had like 10 things pop in my head. I had one thing I wrote down. I know you're a big USFL guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you caught wind of this. You probably have. I just noticed the other day that they have cameras on their helmets. Mm-hmm. Did y'all see that?
I've seen
that.
Oh,
yeah. It built into like where if like you was wearing like a Rydell helmet.
Yeah.
And where was it Rydell? They got it like right in there. It's probably like a GoPro drilled into the helmet, and it's freaking nuts.
Dude.
They got it on the ref's hat too.
Yeah. So I was going to say, so I remember not recently, but 2020 when XFL had like brought all this like stuff to the game, and you're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, you can be in the huddle with this. Oh, you can like see what the officials are thinking. Like all that was so cool. I think the helmet camera is my favorite thing that I've ever seen
It's awesome.
in any sport, and it's because the video the other day where like the linebacker meets the running back in the hole and just gets run over, and I'm like, oh shit! Like it brings me back to being in high school and unfortunately getting run over a time or two.
I'm fortunate enough to say that in all my playing career, I mean, because I played linebacker, I'm fortunate. I've been juked many times before, but I've always been, I'm like, you know, I'd rather get juked than ran over. I've never been ran over, knock on wood, and I'm happy with saying that. I know someone's going to say, oh, I can probably find film where you getting ran over. No, you can't.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I didn't get run over often. I played defensive line. There was one time I came free. The guard was pulling, but I ended up getting in the backfield anyway, and I thought I was scot-free, and the fullback came out of nowhere and decleated my ass. And I was just like, oh, my God. And come to find out.
I've been blindsided before, but not ran over. I don't consider getting blindsided on a kickoff or a kickoff return.
Yeah.
Ran over.
Yeah.
But to the helmet cam thing, what it reminds me of, I mean, ESPN NFL 2K5. I'm like, they did all the first. I can't remember what it's called. I mean, first person view. Yeah. They always did that. I'm like, man, that reminds me of that. I mean, I didn't play that game all that much because I didn't have an original Xbox when I was a kid. I had a GameCube and a PS1. But when I remember playing, I mean, it was always first person view. I'm like, that's what it reminds me of. I'm like, oh my god, they're bringing that back.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You starting to see cameras like in
Everything.
sports more.
Yeah.
The ump cam in baseball, where you get to see 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You see a break. You watch a breaking ball like from a umpire's view, and I'm like, I tweeted the other day replying to one of those. I was like, I don't understand how a baseball is ever put into play. Like,
I don't either.
Like
We talked about this before. I have no idea.
90 miles an hour breaking from here to here. Yeah, I don't. For the life of me, I don't. They had from like the last time Skeens pitched, they had the ump cam of his like 101-mile-an-hour fastball. I'm like, I didn't even see it come out of his hand. Like,
That dude is nasty.
Yeah.
Skeens, it's crazy how I don't know when the last time this has happened. I mean, a pitcher going second overall in the draft. I mean, I know Dylan Cruz. If he doesn't go first overall,
Last
then
year,
next year.
2 years ago, the
Yeah.
Rangers
The
took
Rangers.
The Rangers took Jack Leiter, number 2.
Damn, so it's only been 2 years, but I mean, Skeens is just one of them guys. It's
Yeah.
just like, I mean, the one pitcher that still gives me nightmares. I remember I became an Indians fan in like 2015 because of Major League, and my dad was like, "Hey, you gotta get into baseball eventually. It can't just be football and basketball." I said, "Okay." So I became a fan of the Indians when they were the Indians. They're the Guardians now, and when they went to the World Series, the Cubs had Chapman, and I'm like, I've always loved Chapman. I'm like, because I mean, I've always looked up his records. Like, damn, he still has the highest miles per hour pitch in MLB history. And I'm just like, he still gives me nightmares. I'm just like, mate, I'm not saying Skeens could be Chapman. I mean, maybe he's probably going to be one of the best pitchers in MLB for a while.
The Reds have
power.
a dude that consistently, for 7 innings, throws 104 and 105. What are you supposed to do with that? And it's
Die.
like it's only going to get faster, right?
People are
Like
getting
Oh, yeah.
better.
Or like, what is the at what point? Like, what is the breaking point that we're like, we got to do something about this, guys? Like, we got to at some. Would you be surprised? Not to get into like a real baseball conversation, but would you be surprised if at
Save
some
it.
point in the future they were like, we got to push the mound back? Like,
Damn.
if somebody comes out there and like we're probably a little ways off, but what if somebody gets out there and can consistently throw 107?
That would be.
You can't
I've never
touch
seen
that,
nobody
dude.
do that. I don't.
It would probably take a few people to be able to.
I don't.
mean, the bone, the skin off someone's arm would probably just fall
That's what I'm
off.
saying,
Just gonna
man.
fall off skin off the bone.
I'm thinking of Major League Baseball and how hard it was to get the recent rule changes.
Right.
Ain't no
No, you're right.
damn way they're moving that mound.
Yeah,
back.
it took
That's
them
not
years to
happening.
get a
I
pitch
know,
clock.
man. I'm just like.
I couldn't imagine someone throwing 100.
But they started to realize that they need the offense, right? Like that's what some of these rules were. They needed the offense back. That's why you get rid of the shift. So you never know. Maybe they're like, all right, people are out here throwing 107. Ain't nobody touching that. We got to do
No.
something. You can only throw 80% of your strength, and if we find out you threw 100, you're gone.
Go back to I want to let my man gloat for a second. He's
Yeah.
the only LSU man here.
Yeah.
We were talking Paul Skeens. Let's talk for a second about LSU baseball.
So, well, yeah, I might have went to Southeastern, but I mean, I've been an LSU everything fan my whole life. I mean, I was born a purple and gold fan because of my parents, of course. They've been big LSU fans forever. I mean, there was a moment where I was like, you know what? I don't think LSU's going because I mean, I remember being out there with my parents and my uncle and my aunt, and he was like, "Who do you?" Because my uncle watches baseball religiously too. Because his son used to play baseball all the time too, so he was asking me, "Who do you think is going to win the College World Series this year for men's?" I was like, "I want to say LSU, but I don't know. Wake Forest looks legit," and I mean, I wasn't lying. Wake Forest was legit until they made that video that I'm not gonna meme or make.
There you go.
I mean, everyone knows the video, the locker room. I'm like, I don't know how his teammate allowed him to do that. That I don't know how that flew, but anyway. I mean, the one thing I think I'm happy about is, I mean, Skeens pitched, and then if it wasn't for Skeens, I don't know if we would have went 12 or 11 innings because, I mean, it was tough for a while, but I mean, I'm happy we got it done. 'Cause, I mean, my hope was leaving the door for a second.
You get the walk off, right?
Yes.
And I'm wondering as I'm thinking of that. There's walk-offs in every sport, I guess. You got buzzer beaters in basketball. You got overtime victories in football. Is a walk-off home run or any hit the best type of way to win a sport?
The home run, just a little base hit single. I don't think like if Did you happen to see it happened last week in a Chicago Cubs game? Against the Dodgers, not the Cubs, the White Sox against the Dodgers. They had a runner on third. Guy hits a fly ball to center field. Center fielder knew he wasn't going to catch it, and there was no excitement because he just started walking to the dugout.
Well,
Didn't even go after, which
because he knew it was a walk-off.
Right. To be fair, like he knew there was nothing he could do about it. Even if he catches it, like the dude, because it was at the wall. He wasn't beating the dude out from third, right?
Buzzkill.
So like, but like, what I'm saying is a homer, like a no doubt walk off homer, legit is awesome. Right?
I put that up there with maybe like a walk off Hail Mary that Aaron Rodgers has done so many times, or a buzzer beater 3, like the win, like the shot from MJ, something like that. I mean, it's up there with like that.
Yeah, I don't think like a little base hit single.
What's the best one is what I'm getting at. I'm just starting with that. I don't think that's the best
CJ
one.
Honestly,
Spiller.
The CJ Spiller.
That CJ Spiller play was legit.
In a 7 and 9 year or whatever.
Yeah. You know what? The only thing I think he ever did for
one play as a Saint.
The best walk off or the best clutch moment for me in just a walk off fashion was Garrett Hartley's field goal against the Vikings in 2009. That will always I can still hear Jim Henderson on the radio saying it's good, it's good. I mean,
field goal is an underrated one. Like when Will Lutz hit that 61 against the Texans a few years ago.
Big nuts Lutz.
That was crazy. Yeah,
I remember being in the student union at Southeastern. It was a Monday Night Football game, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
And I remember when he hit that, how loud it got in the student union, because I couldn't believe he made it.
Full court buzzer beater's got to be number one.
Oh yeah, that's what I was.
Got to be number
when
one.
Devontae hit.
When Devontae hit that, that's got to be number one, dude.
Because I mean,
because it's
Devontae.
The thing that makes it number one is like the chances of it happening.
Yeah,
right.
Slim.
The shock of it. It's like, oh shit, that went in.
Right. Like if you're a baseball and you got like Ronald Acuna at the plate and you need a walk off home run, you're like, this dude can hit home runs, right? So, like, you're not it's still great, but you're not as surprised by it.
Right. I mean, they're all great. I mean, it's hard for you to pick. I mean, for me, like, just a walk-off field goal, because it's like, hey, we just hit a walk-off field goal. You don't have to, like, hand it off.
No, what about like Tebow against the Steelers in the playoffs? Like the one play touchdown. Like
that was awesome.
A quick slant or a post that just gets taken to the house.
Quick slant to the Demarius Thomas for a touchdown to win. I mean, Tebow won a playoff game. It's crazy.
I hate that I'm going to say this. If you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, the Minnesota Miracle, like that's got to be.
Yeah.
This is kind of another question. Is it so like you get with a buzzer beater, you get like that? It's in the air and you're waiting for it, and then you just get like the explosion right as soon as it hits. Mm-hmm. Is that better than like? For Demarius Thomas, he catches it, and then you see him have the open field.
I think
is it cooler to watch him run for 20 yards, knowing you're about to win?
I think the football aspect, like the drawn out,
you get to
it's like, is he actually going to make it? He can make it. I don't know.
Field goal kickers get. I mean, it's hard to be a kicker. Everyone thinks, being a field goal kicker is easy. It is not. Not everyone can kick a ball accurately. I mean.
I love the consistent love for the kickers that we're getting from this side of the couch.
Because they get a lot of hate. Because that's a hard job to do.
Underrated if you're at the game and you're watching from the angle and you have to watch the other people in the crowd to know whether the field goal went in.
Yes, you have to watch the screen.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of like some of the other my favorite ones.
Kawhi versus the 76ers.
Where the ball just floats around.
I think it's the suspense.
Yeah.
When it's like bouncing around and
that
you're like,
relief after it goes in, knowing that you just won is great.
Deshaun Jackson's punt return against the Giants, where he fumbles it at first, and you're like, this is over.
Tom Coughlin is probably still Tom Coughlin is probably still pissed off at Matt Dodge after that one.
I think there's something to getting to watch him run 15 yards and you know it's over.
Yeah.
There's something to that. I think that might be my favorite. Where you're like, oh, this is happening, and the stadium's just going nuts from 15 yards.
Yeah, and then they continue going nuts after.
Yeah, it's just a whole party. That's especially if it's a big game like the Minnesota Miracle. Like when you see him stay in bounds.
Always the Vikings.
Dude, what a moment, right?
I still can't believe
what a moment.
I don't know.
I don't look back at that fondly, so I'm not.
Not at all.
The excitement in your voice there.
I have one thing muted on my Twitter. And it's Minnesota Miracle. I swear to God. It is the one thing. It is the one phrase muted because I didn't for the longest time. But then every time we played the Vikings, and it feels like it's every year now.
I don't even care at this point anymore. I really don't, because, I mean, there's a couple people, like one of my friends who is the other Breakers guy. I mean, I'm sure y'all seen Low on Twitter.
Yeah.
Not
He's
gonna
a
lie, I
Viking-
thought that was you for the longest time.
No. He calls me Logan. I call him Low because, I mean, we're both named Logan. Someone's got to be Low. Okay, might as well be him. I found out he was a Viking, so I'm like, dude, really? I was like, come on, man. And then there's another guy that writes for the USFL newsroom. He's a Stallions fan, unfortunately, and he's a Vikings fan. I'm like, why? Why? Where are y'all coming from?
This is changing subjects. Have we reached that point with the Breakers already? Do they have a legit rival?
The Stallions?
Is that the Breakers' legit rival?
I mean, that's almost kind of like
You're
LSU,
the expert here. I have no idea.
That is kind of our rival now. I mean, there's no really other team that we hate more than the Stallions. I'm guessing because we share a stadium for now. Next year we won't be.
Yeah.
And
shout out Birmingham Blue Wave.
It's
BBW.
been
it's kind
tough
of like
for me
LSU Bama. I mean, yeah, they've beaten us more than we've beaten them, but it's kind of like the LSU Bama thing. So I mean, that's legitimately our rival for now.
It's been, just to like breeze through USFL stuff, I guess. It's been like I want to support the Breakers so bad. I want to support the Breakers, and I want them to win right now, and I do pull for them. But it's so hard to pull for them not here. And you've seen me mess with you on Twitter before about it, and he does it too. We mess with him and just call him the Birmingham Blue Wave all the time. And
I mean, I get it. I do. I mean,
it rolls off the tongue. If we can be
it really does. But I need them to be here. So I may not even go to a game, right? But I need them.
I'll go to a game.
I would like to, but I haven't been to a Tulane game in 2-3 years. So, but I still support them. But just them being here, where I know I can go watch, I'm like, all right, it's easy for me to buy in, and then I'll pay more attention and know that this is our rival. And the first year it was hard for me to get in because it was in the back of your mind. You're like, is this gonna last? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like they're in a better shape than the XFL, it seems. So,
and that's the crazy thing is the XFL, they was all playing in their markets, and I mean the Fox's idea was, because this is the idea I heard and I was told, the idea was we're going to put them in the hubs, we're going to get all the TV money the first 2 years, and after that we're going to put everybody in their respective markets. That's at least what I was told.
It makes sense. Like it logistically, it makes sense to
get the TV money so that we could put them where they belong, so we go forward them.
And it looks more legit. Well, other than it's rough when you see them on TV and the stadium's empty. That's the first thing. But that's kind of goes back to COVID. Like COVID games were rough too when the stadiums were empty. So maybe people are a little desensitized to that. But seeing that they're on a national network like that, it's like it brings some validity. Like, what does XFL play? I don't even know where the hell.
That's what I'm saying.
They were on ESPN.
They're on ESPN.
But the thing with the XFL is, so at least with the USFL, you have consistency in the stadium.
Yes.
If they may play at the same stadium, but the stadium is always the same. The amount of fans that show up may fluctuate. But the XFL, the Battlehawks look like an NFL game.
Oh, I mean,
that's incredible.
They deserve
in St. Louis, right? Like they've bought into that team.
Yeah.
Vegas looks like they play at a high school field.
That field that was the worst field I've ever seen.
It looks like you're playing at Fontainebleau.
I remember I seen a picture,
and it's empty.
Yes, I remember I saw a picture of that field that you're talking about for Vegas and
when
the
it
XFL.
rained.
They spray painted the field. I'm just like, okay, if someone's gonna get hurt. I played on fields like that before, and it's not fun.
Right, and it rained one game there. Yes. It was the most it looked like a high school production. So yeah, they may get to play in their city.
Yeah, but I mean the quality wasn't.
But it's like,
which throws me for a loop because the XFL during COVID or right before COVID, it had momentum, man.
Oh, I love the XFL. I mean, I was pulling for the Roughnecks because I'm like, dude, they have what I call the Great Value Oilers uniforms, and I absolutely freaking loved that because they had. It wasn't the Oilers logo, but you seen that they was trying to get away with it. And I mean, PJ Walker was a huge PJ Walker fan, and it looked like, hey, this is going to be it. No other league's going to be able to compete with this. And then COVID hit, and now it's like the XFL took 5 steps back.
If you accept those leagues for what it is, right, where you're not
like a G League,
you're not going to have you're going to have some players that are NFL level talent, right? But you're not going to have the depth of the NFL. If you accept it for what it is, it's fun football.
Yeah,
it is.
And I'll be honest, like you watch the Breakers play, like that looks like a real team. Like it's a good football team, and it's good football to watch. But like you'd watch the XFL, and I don't know if it's the players on the field or if it's just that I can't get past the setting that they're in. I'm like, I can't watch this.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's on ESPN. Like,
You would think it would be doing better if it was on ESPN. But
Yeah.
apparently the
Right.
ratings weren't that great, and there was people all over social media saying, "Oh yeah, the XFL owns the USFL ratings wise as it is." And if you look at the ratings, not really.
they're probably taking the Battlehawks game that, of course, people watch because it looks like an NFL game.
I mean, they filled
But-
that stadium completely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I tried to watch the XFL this year. I'll be honest.
It's
and
tough.
I just couldn't
didn't.
do it.
I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was-
Anyway, what else you got?
I got plenty of stuff.
Let's
I
go.
want to talk about my man's shirt over here. He showed up with a
Let's get
showed
into
up with a
some fun
Joker
stuff. Let's
shirt.
go.
He's got a batarang over here. I'm curious. You know, we talked Marvel a little bit once before. We don't have to talk specific comics. I'm curious who everybody's favorite villain is. I see the Joker.
I mean,
You caught me.
how can you not say the Joker's probably the greatest comic book villain of all time? I mean, you put him in the live action. I mean, everyone is hoping one day we'll see another live action Joker. I mean, Jared Leto's wasn't great at all. I mean, Heath Ledger's is like the pinnacle or the ceiling that you want to reach. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Probably not. Or even Jack Nicholson before that. Both of Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger were. I don't think you can replicate that.
Yeah.
I mean, the other one, I mean, is animated, but I mean, when I think of the Joker's voice, I think Mark Hamill's, of course. And I mean, he's right here. Yeah, he's right there. That's
Yeah,
the
you
one
got one.
I know of as a kid from watching all the animated series and all that. I mean,
Who's your favorite Joker?
Heath
I'm gonna put you on
Ledger.
the spot. Yeah.
Yeah, Heath Ledger. I mean, everything that he did, it was just great. And there were some scenes that he ad-libbed, and you can see in the actress's face, like in that one scene where he's in Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne's penthouse and saying, "Hello, beautiful," and that wasn't in the script, and she
Yeah.
was actually terrified. Her looking over like that was her looking at the directors. That wasn't in the script. So what he did, I mean, the role ultimately killed him, unfortunately. But Heath Ledger, I mean, yeah, I don't think that's going to be topped.
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I don't want to piggyback. The Joker's definitely my favorite, but I'm not going to pick Joker because he went Joker. I'm going Thanos. Just the sheer power, the
Do you
force.
get yours? Does your opinion come from the recent movies? Like yours seems to come from everywhere. Comic
Yeah.
books.
I mean, I wasn't
movies,
a
animated
comic
stuff.
book reader, but I mean, just all the animated series, all the Batman, even the Batman from Adam West days I watched.
Because that's what
So-
mine. I'm trying to think of mine, and it's more like recent TV. So I'm wondering if that's where yours comes from.
Like
too.
yes, for the most part. Like if I sat here and said, "Hey, I've read the comic books," and like I'm a big Doctor
Right.
Doom fan, even though I know Doctor Doom is like a
Right.
great villain, like I'd be lying. I understand, but like yeah, I'm coming from TV shows, whether it's old TV shows. Like I've seen them all. I'm a big I watch every movie.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because I don't want to say Joker too. So I immediately went to like Loki,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
but it's mostly
fun.
it's mostly because of the way it's been portrayed in the recent. I mean, it's what 10 years now. I
Well,
think.
even if you go to the TV show,
Yeah.
like
and the crazy thing is I've never really seen the TV show.
Yeah. Oh, the TV show is legit.
I wanted to get into it, but of course, my friend gave me his Disney Plus password, and then after he gave it to me, his subscription ran out. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
worthless, but thank you anyway.
But like you probably like the Joker pre Heath Ledger, but once you see that
Yeah.
role, you're like, all right.
oh yeah,
You fall in love with the actor. Like
Man.
I used to love watching the Flash and Green Arrow TV shows, and I don't like the dude that played Reverse Flash. I was like, I love this.
yeah.
Like you just fall in love with the people that play those characters, or the guy that played Deathstroke. I was like, yeah, I like that.
Yes.
Is Venom a villain? Do we count Venom? Isn't he like an anti-hero? Isn't that what he's?
I mean, I guess he's kind of
classified as?
both. I mean, if you watched both the Venom
depends,
movies, he was
yeah.
kind of both a hero and a villain.
'Cause
I mean,
Venom's Venom's the guy. I
Yeah.
like Venom.
Venom's pretty awesome.
What's his name playing Green Goblin?
Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't think of his name. That's a good
That's a
one too.
Doc Ock's a good one. You could pick a couple from that, just
Yeah.
that specific
Yeah.
series.
I mean, I guess I'll say the Riddler since no one's saying it. I mean, I know I'm not a huge Batman Forever fan. I would honestly put George Clooney's over Val Kilmer. I know that's a bold take, but Jim Carrey as the Riddler, I thought that was pretty cool. And then I mean, Paul Dano just recently that he turned the Riddler into kind of like a serial killer, but I mean, I guess that
Yeah.
he was kind of a nutty guy. So
I did like that. I like the new Batman movie
Yeah,
recently.
I did
Didn't think I was gonna, because I normally, like, I didn't like any of the Ben Affleck stuff. I didn't like. I wasn't really a fan of any of the newer DC stuff. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it was. I wouldn't really say it was all Ben Affleck's fault. Like the Batman versus Superman, I don't think he had Zack Snyder, because I mean Zack Snyder is an incredible director and filmmaker. He got out of it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's either that or Justice League. I'm confusing the two, but I mean, whenever he had Zack Snyder as a director, you can clearly say, "Oh shit, he's really great as Batman." Like, and if you go see the Flash, I mean, he's only in it probably for what he says 5 minutes, but he was really great in the Flash for the time that he was in there.
Yeah, I still need to check that out. I've seen you talking it up, man.
Yeah.
So I mean,
You're not the only one. I've seen a lot of people hyping it up.
I mean, it's getting a lot of negative reviews because I mean, I understand why people don't want to go see it because I know, and I mean, excuse my language, but I mean, I get Ezra Miller's a piece of shit, but I wasn't really going there to see Ezra Miller. I wanted to see Michael Keaton as Batman because I mean, for the first time, him being Batman since 1992, Batman Returns. I mean, that's what I really wanted to see. And I mean, Sasha Kal-El, beautiful. I gotta say, she's beautiful. She really did Supergirl really well. But I mean, I know Ezra Miller's a piece of shit. But
You're
I mean,
separating art from artists. Like, that's a whole.
I mean,
topic
yeah. Do
these
I think the
days.
guy should have went to jail? Yeah, I do. I mean, they probably could have got someone else.
You've seen some people just completely get cut out of movies. Now, granted, he's the main character there, so it's tough.
I mean, I would have been upset if I didn't get to see Michael Keaton as Batman again. But I mean,
Yeah, I don't. If you out here judging somebody for going to see the new Batman movie, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, if you want to go see Batman, go see Batman.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Like I said, should the guy be in jail for what he did? Ultimately, I think so. Because like I said, I agree he's a piece of shit. But I mean, I don't want that. I don't want us as the fans to like, because they said if this movie, God bless you, and they said if this movie did good at the box office, that we would have probably got a Batman Beyond live action film, which I've been wanting since I was a kid. I mean, 1999, I think, or 2000, when Batman Beyond Return of the Joker came on VHS. Like 4 years old.
Yeah,
I've been wanting a live action one ever since. I'm like, oh shoot, we're gonna get Michael Keaton.
that's what I was.
And someone else, like maybe I've been hearing Timothy Chalamet as Terry McGinnis. Okay, I'm cool with that. But now we might not ever get to see that. But I believe in James Gunn. I mean, I love the Suicide Squad. So
Yeah. What was your favorite? We're talking about Batman, and I'm a big Batman fan actually. What was your favorite Batman series?
man, I know the Batman animated series was amazing, but I mean, Batman Beyond, that's probably my favorite. And then after that is just the animated series is goated. I'll put that second on my personal list, but I mean, Batman Beyond was just truly amazing in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, so when I ask series, I'm also including like movies and things of that sort. Like you talk the Michael Keaton movies, you talk the Val Kilmer movies.
Yeah, Val Kilmer did one, which I mean, the only reason why Val did it, I mean, it's crazy how much of a nerd I am with this stuff, but I mean, Val Kilmer only did it because Michael Keaton couldn't do it because he was filming another movie at the time, I think. I don't know which one it was, but didn't thrill me. I mean, I loved Jim Carrey in that movie, but Val Kilmer just didn't move the needle for me. I know the Batman and Robin movie people say was awful because of the nipples on the suit. I mean, I thought that was hilarious, honestly. I mean, I thought George Clooney did fairly well considering the writing was awful. But, I mean, if you gave him someone like Tim Burton, Clooney probably could have killed the role, but...
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously I'm going Dark Knight series. Like, in my mind, movie
I still think it's the
series-wise.
greatest superhero movie of all time. I'm not even just saying that because I'm a huge Batman fan.
I was going to ask, what is the best
It's got to be
series?
It's got to be the Dark Knight series, and I know that people will disagree with me. Like, there's a lot of Marvel fans out there that'll be like, "No, you're crazy," because of the Avengers.
I was going to say, is the Avengers
Spider-Man.
movies is that in the?
It's probably in the top 5. I mean, I still think, I mean, the recent Spider-Man movie with when they brought Toby and Andrew back, it's probably in the top 3. I mean, everyone in the theater clapped when Andrew came and made his appearance, but there was people even younger than me when Toby came through that portal. The whole I saw people stand up and clap and cheer.
Yeah.
And I even heard people crying where I was just like, well, why are you crying? But okay.
It's hard to not say the Avengers. We just talked about it, but I've never seen a reaction in the theater for both of those.
Yeah.
For the first one and
Right.
Endgame.
In game.
Like I told him.
I think I know the scene you're probably going to talk
Well,
about.
the end where what's the first one?
Infinity
War.
Infinity War when he
Where they lose. Like, it looks like they lose because that never happens, right?
No.
So I've never seen so many people leave a theater just shocked. Like, you have that, and then to follow it up with one of the greatest like scenes in probably like movie history, right? When they start coming through the portal, and everybody in the theaters applauded, and it's like, like I
think my favorite like Marvel scene ever, and it's got to be an Endgame where you're thinking Thor's about to die by his own freaking axe, and you see the Mjolnir, I think that's how it's pronounced, just lift up, and you see it go in Captain America's hands. Everyone in theater,
they lost
cheers.
their minds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
I'm
man.
just like, I actually lost my freaking mind. I'm like, oh my god, I actually didn't see that coming.
Like, it feels like, for like you mentioned Dark Knights here, it's like it seems like everybody loves the Dark Knight, but there's not a whole lot of people that talk about the other
I'm
movies.
both. I mean, I
like
both
them
these.
all.
I
Right,
like them
I
all.
like all
right,
three
and
of them.
look, like, that's fair, but I feel like
I think people are drawn to that because of the Joker, because of Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
They're like, this is it. But I thought Bane was amazing in the third one.
yeah,
I thought
the whole
that's true.
trilogy-
That is true.
The whole trilogy, I mean, Christopher Nolan knocked it out the park. I mean, from Batman Begins to The Dark Knight, which, like I said, I think is the greatest superhero movie ever, even over Endgame and No Way Home. And, I mean, then you got The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, you had freaking Big Ben, Bill Cowher, and Hines Ward on a football field falling
it's
through,
blowing up.
playing for the Gotham City, whatever. I don't even remember.
You could probably make, like, somebody could make the argument that Bane was even better than the Joker.
I would be willing to make that argument. I would at least.
It's tough. It's tough.
But I mean, Tom Hardy did a great
He
job. But
he hit that
I
shit
gotta
out
give
the
it
park.
to Heath Ledger.
Listen, I would be willing if we had a show, if this was like Stephen A. Like First Take or whatever, and I was forced to argue the other side, I could come up with some points.
It's one of them
Give me a
ones where
minute.
you're like it's one of them arguments where you're not necessarily gonna disagree with the other side. Like, if you say that, cool, but this is my take, right? Like,
I feel that.
I don't even know.
100%.
And honestly, that could be one of them ones where if you ask me today, I'll tell you one thing. You ask me next week, I'd tell you. Like, if I had just watched one of them, be like, yeah.
I tell you what, though, man, nothing beats watching The Dark Knight for the first time, and even the beginning, like the bus scene, and then like the magic. You want to see a magic trick, and it's like, ta-da.
I can
It's like,
remember
oh,
the
shit.
first time I seen it. It was 2008, of course. I wasn't old enough to get into the theater. Neither was my best friend. It was me, my best friend, and his parents brought us. It was in 2008. I don't remember how old I was. Of course, I wasn't 13, I guess, so that's why they had to bring us. I could just remember seeing it for the first time, kind of being freaked out by Heath Ledger's antics, but then after that, I'm just like, damn, that was freaking awesome. I mean, he actually, when you think of the Joker, that's the first thing you think of is Heath Ledger now, or Mark Hamill.
It's
There's two trains there, right? Like,
Yes.
people will fight over that.
even in that movie, like, Two-Face is portrayed really well.
Yeah.
It's just overshadowed by Heath Ledger.
For years, I thought, I can't remember the actor's name that played Two-Face in
I
that
can't
movie,
either.
but for years, I thought that was makeup on his face, but when I found out it was CGI, I'm like, really? I thought that was makeup the whole time. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. We got something else we got to do, or I want to do. It's not even we got to do.
Let's go.
A fun new segment. We played a game last week for the first time.
I
It's
forgot
called.
about this.
You forgot about this?
Honestly,
How could you forget?
I'm sorry.
Hey, I have CTE, so don't feel
I
bad.
thought you were about to wrap it up because we've been going a while. But
we
okay.
have, but we got one more thing to do, man. It's Smash or Pass time.
Yep. Let's
Oh
do it.
no!
All right. So
It's
Smash or
not
Pass.
what you think.
Yeah, it's not what you think. You probably didn't see the segment last week. Smash or Pass presented to you by Coops.Burgers. In my opinion, like I said last week, best burger in the New Orleans area, man. Get the hot boy. Tell him Patty sent you. Coops.Burgers everywhere. Smash or Pass is a game where I'm going to throw out a random topic, and you're just going to smash or pass. It can be food. It could be a subject. It could be anything. I'm going to steer clear of anything inappropriate because I don't want to do that. I've had people ask me that. I'm like, nah, I'm not. We're not going there. Maybe we'll joke about it one day, but it's not a thing. I wrote down some fun stuff. Smash or pass. We'll go down the line one by one, okay? Smash or pass. First thing, Jazz Fest.
I ain't been since 2012, but smash.
I'm going pass.
It depends on who's playing, I guess.
I'm going pass. I've been saying I want to every year. Somebody is on the lineup that I want to go see. It's the crowds, man, and it is just too hot. If I didn't go when they did it in October, I'm never going.
I
Yeah.
mean, when I
Like the
went-
crowds, I can't do the crowds.
When
It's
I went in
just too much.
2012, it was hot. I saw the Foo Fighters. Thank God I did before
They
Taylor
show.
Hawkins died.
There's always that one overhead shot where it looks like you can't walk. I'm like, you know what,
Elton
man?
John. The Elton
Yeah,
John
I'm
year.
like, it ain't for me, buddy.
Yeah, Elton John and Ed Sheeran, I think we're playing at the same time
Yeah.
one year, and I didn't go to it. I wanted to, and I saw the
That's the
overhead
thing,
shot, and I was
man.
like, "Oh no, no!" I'm gonna kick myself for saying this because the only jazz fest I've been to, it was probably one of the most fun times I've had in my whole life. But I'm gonna pass. Same reason. Normally it's either hot as hell, it's rained and it's muddy, and there's crowds everywhere.
And it's expensive.
And I enjoy festivals. I really do. Like we used to go to Hangout Fest every year, but
Yeah.
you're on the beach. It's a whole different vibe,
Yeah.
right? And it's not. It's like it's packed, but it's not Jazz Fest
It's
packed.
different. Give me French Quarter Fest. Give me Po' Boy Fest.
Yeah.
Oak Street. Is
I
that
go
Po'
to
Boy
Gretna
Fest on
Fest
Oak Street?
quite
Gretna,
often.
Gretna Fest.
We used to go to Voodoo Fest because we would get in for free, but even that, it's just not as packed. I don't know if it's just the way Jazz Fest is set up. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like I always want to go, but and then I'm like, you know what?
You know what I love about Gretna Heritage Fest though? It's spread out through the town or through the city, so like it never feels like you're on top of people.
It's very inexpensive too. I mean, that's why me and my folks go. I mean, it depends on who's playing now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was years ago. I think I can't remember somebody was playing. Fuck it, move on. We're not
See,
gonna sit
last
here.
time I went, I think Kiss was playing.
Kiss. That's who it was. I was trying to think. I was like, there was a big band. I,
I mean-
can't think of the name of the
I
band.
mean, I dressed up as Gene Simmons for Halloween. I walked around Southeastern's campus. I lost the costume contest to someone that was wearing a polo and khakis. I'm
Was-
not even bullshitting.
was he
when I
dressed
said
as Jake from State Farm?
that. He literally just in a shirt, like a polo and khakis, and I didn't even place in the top 5, and I was Gene Simmons. I'm like,
We're gonna have to dive into that another time.
oh yeah,
now I'm interested.
definitely. I'm cool with that.
Continue.
All right. Smash or pass. Vietnamese food.
I'm not too hip. I don't really like Asian cuisine. I know that's probably a bold take. Well, I mean, I'm not. It depends. I mean, I do like sesame chicken. I don't think that's Vietnamese, but I guess I'll pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
You want to pass?
You know,
You guys are
me, I'm-
haters. I'm smashing the shit out of Vietnamese food, man. Vietnamese food has everything you could possibly want. You want a soup? They got soup. They got chicken. They got whatever. The broth is phenomenal. Depends on where you go. You want a po' boy? They got po' boys. Most of these places have like firecracker shrimp on a
Does
a bun.
Vietnamese coffee count?
Absolutely, it
then,
counts.
Then smash.
Exactly.
If it's just even if it's just the coffee, smash.
Does
Dude.
dong fongs count as Vietnamese food?
yeah,
I mean, I do love their king cakes.
There you go.
exactly.
We
Most
all
people
love
don't
it.
realize.
We all
too.
change our answer. Here we go.
Most people don't realize too that like most Vietnamese places, they basically have po' boys.
I did not know that. I don't really deep
It's-
dive into Asian cuisine.
It's called banh mi. If you're ever wondering, if somebody offers you a banh mi, it's basically a sandwich. It's got like carrots and pickled whatever. It doesn't matter. Like it's still phenomenal. I promise you. Try it. Shout out banh mi boys. That's why I brought that up. I love banh mi boys. All right, we'll move on. One more smash or pass. We're gonna go swamp tour.
Pass.
I'm gonna go pass because I've done it once and I'm like, all right, I don't think I need to do it again. It was cool, but
My luck, a damn alligator will jump on the boat and eat all
I'm
everybody.
gonna tell you what. I'm all for seeing gators. Like that's cool as shit. It's the snakes for me. You get me too close to a snake, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
you.
don't want to die by a snake either.
Also, mosquitoes. Good God, the mosquitoes on a swamp tour.
Just whining about everything.
Yeah, man. The mosquitoes here. We almost not coming back next week.
We'll be all right, man. We'll be all right. I don't know. Maybe it's the Slidell in me. I grew up in Slidell. We went to Slidell a couple days ago. I'm going smash. I know there's not swamp tours in Slidell, but
There is.
Honey
Are there?
Island swamp
Yeah.
oh,
tours.
Honey Island.
That's the
Swamp-
only
I'll
one.
say
That's
that.
the only one I've ever
That's the
done.
only one I've ever
Yeah.
heard of, and I've never been.
That's fair. I've been to one in Lafitte. I've never been to one in Slidell, so maybe
never
that's why
been
I'm
that deep
thinking
in
that.
Louisiana.
That's fair. But no, like as a kid, I remember like going. They give you like the little baby gator with the tape mouth. You could hold the alligator, and they're throwing marshmallows, and the dude's nuts. The dude on the front of the boat is nuts
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Like these gators are his pets. He'll jump in the water. You seen them videos of the guys that'll like jump in the water and like go nose to nose with him?
Yeah,
They're
I
crazy.
wouldn't recommend doing that.
What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
No, I'll say this. I would, if I had like a family member that had never done it before, I would go. I'd take them and go again. But if it's like, if you're asking me like, hey, what you want to do this weekend? That's not even gonna be top
That's
50. Like,
no. That- It's not even crossing my mind.
Yeah, it wouldn't even get named. I'll be honest.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not naming it either.
I mean, and I grew up in Slidell too, but swamp, so I don't think it's Slidell's thing.
I'm from
No,
Chalmette.
it's not. It's not.
I was in the swamp. So
What is Slidell known for anyway?
where vibes go to die.
I mean, we're known for Old Town, and we're known for the Dirty Dell spray painted bridge.
Is this true?
And Matt Forte.
Do you agree that Old Town is a place you can go any Friday night and see anybody you've gone to high school with and possibly run into an ex-girlfriend as a bartender?
Well, I mean, my ex, I think, moved from high school, moved way up north. So, but I mean, last time I went to Old Town and actually went to a bar with it was like, I think, either 2019 or 2020. Me and my best friend was like, hey, let's just go and see if we see anybody we know. I'm sure we'll see everybody from high school there. Sure enough, I seen about 10 of my former teammates there and about 3 women I went to high school with. So, yeah, you'll see somebody from high school there.
We got married in Slidell, and we didn't feel like going all the way to New Orleans, so we just went out in Old Town afterwards. Everybody I went to high school got to congratulate me on my wedding.
Everyone I went to high school with has got kids now, and either they are married or, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I got nothing.
Hey, we got Matt Forte. I'm cool with that.
That's a big one. Tulane great. Shout out.
I mean, that's the only person from Slidell High that's actually made it out lately.
My sister, I guess.
I mean, is she better than Matt Forte?
No. I love you, Natalie. Oh, that's
Anyway.
it. We can close this shit out.
Yeah.
We can close this shit out. It was a great episode. Thank you to Logan. Logan, I want to let you shout out anything else you want as we close this thing out.
I mean, just watch Sports Etouffee. I mean, I post it. I'm going to try to post it every Monday at a good time for everybody. I'm still trying to learn the trends of what is the best time to post it, either early in the morning or late at night. And then, of course, I got my music show eventually is going to happen. And, I mean, WLAE, if you have Channel 11 or on Spectrum, then watch that. I'm probably not going to be on camera that much, but just support that channel because, I mean, I love everybody over there. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah. Where can we follow you? Is there a different channel for do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, the YouTube channel, we're Sports Etouffee. I mean, I got it called LGTV now because, I mean, I'm like Logan Graffia TV, so LGTV. You just search Sports Etouffee and just subscribe to me. It's under my name, Logan Graffia. I mean, I have to have it as that because I have demo reels up there too.
There you go.
I mean, on Twitter, at the Soulman57, Soul spelled like SOUL, not like a sole of your shoe. And same goes for IG. And if you want to find me on Facebook, just search my name. I mean, me and Ethan got friended me on Facebook the other day.
You go to the Who Effing Knows Twitter. We interact with you all the time. You'll find Logan.
You'll find me. We interact all the time.
There you go. You can follow me on my personal account at the Patty V. Follow Dave too.
At the Dave Rainey.
Yeah, follow us everywhere at Who Effing Knows, theknow.com. Check out our YouTube. Shout out Brew Bros. We just started a new coffee thing. We got one segment out, one coming. We're coming to a lot of spots in Slidell actually right now. We actually hit. I'm just going to give a little peek behind the curtain here. We hit 2 already, and we're going to put the second one out next week. But, yeah, if you got a spot, send it our way. Other than that, that's all we got.
That's it.
Till next time, take care of yourselves, y'all.
Peace.